in 10 Americans over the age of 60 are victims of elder abuse and neglect every year. According to the National Adult Protective Services Association, a large percentage of this fraud and abuse is committed by someone the victim knows. And it can range from stealing Social Security checks, to forging financial documents, to taking off with jewelry and cash.
Good evening, and welcome to this month's edition of Rural America Live with AARP. I'm Christina Loren. Now, tonight's topic is kind of a tough one. Elder exploitation extends far beyond random con artists bombarding older adults with robocalls and phishing scams. That's why our good friends at AARP brought along FBI Special Agent Rebecca Keithley, who's going to join us tonight. Her specialty is helping to protect older Americans from fraud and abuse. And we look forward to taking your calls tonight, sharing tips as well on how to spot the red flags of exploitation. We can all be better community members, better neighbors to our elderly population. After all, we're all going to be there one day. And our question of the month is, you're a big part of the show. We want to hear from you tonight. Do you have a story to share about an older loved one who has been victimized by a scam? Maybe you yourself have been victimized by a scam. Let us know. Are you getting emails? Are you getting robocalls? Give us a call tonight. Again, that number is 877-283-7570, and we're giving away a cooler tonight to 5 random lucky on-air callers. We hope it's you. Good luck to you there. You don't need to be a member of AARP or over the age of 50 to win. As a friendly reminder, you can only win one time each calendar year. Now, we want to let those winners know that AARP will call you back using the number that you called from. It won't be tonight, but they will give you a call in the next few days to confirm your mailing address. Now, if you're a past winner, haven't received your cooler just yet, be sure to return their call. You're still going to get it, and they will cover the shipping for you. All right, let's get this show started. 877-283-7570. Give us a call. Join the conversation tonight. We are ready to take your call right now. And we welcome in our first special guest, Amy Nofziger, a fan favorite, of course, here on AARP, fraud watch expert. Now, she's also the director of the fraud helpline, and it's so great to have you back on the show. I know whenever you come in, we get a lot of calls.
Well, I hope so. I hope we get a lot of calls tonight. I'm looking forward to hearing what people are concerned about and asking their questions.
It's a big topic. And fraud, I look every time I check my email and I think to myself, wow, they are getting smarter and more tactful. And so we need to be more prepared.
Absolutely.
More alert to what's out there. And so that's why we're so excited to have you on the show tonight. And you have a lot of important information to share with our audience. Let's start with a look back at how much money was lost to scams in 2022. $8.8 billion is a staggering amount of money. What can you tell us about the recent report from the Federal Trade Commission?
And let's just say that number again. 8.8 with a B, billion dollars was reported loss. So the Federal Trade Commission puts out the Consumer Sentinel every year to talk about the scams that are targeting and attacking people. From the helpline, we actually enter our fraud data into the Consumer Sentinel. So it's a really great data source. So here's a couple of things that we found out from it. So 2.4 million fraud reports were recorded. 8.8 billion lost, like we said a little bit ago. The top frauds that were reported this year were imposter scams. And what we mean by that is someone pretending to be somebody else, whether that's the federal government, a grandparent scam, imposter scams. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers tonight have had imposter scams. And then finally, the losses to investment fraud, and a lot of this has to do with the cryptocurrency, doubled to $3.8 billion. $3.8 billion. And what's interesting about this is even though older adults are less likely to report their fraud victimization, maybe because of fear, embarrassment, they don't know where to report, when they do report, they lose almost double the amount of money of their younger counterparts.
That's so hard to hear that, because the younger counterparts as well, they grew up in this technological age. You know, they have a better idea of what to look out for. And so that's what we're going to point out tonight. And it's always a good idea to be teaching our elderly relatives, those who are older than us, what we can about technology, even if it's something as simple as how to use FaceTime, because getting that connection, face, and the audio know as well, it makes such a difference. It can bring so much joy to an elderly person's life. So that's what we're all about tonight. That's what we're going to be talking about. The scammers, they keep coming up with new angles. Same old scams, new angles though. Stealing gas money from innocent people. Talk about that.
I mean, the criminals will just steal regardless, you know, whether it's gas money, whatever it is. They'll just steal from you. They like to pretend to be your boyfriend with romance scams. They like to pretend to be a loan provider. We have a lot of online loan scams right now. They even like to sell you fake puppies or non-existent puppies, right? These are some of the scams that are happening right now all across America.
All across America, and sadly, the taxpayers in this great country are the ones who are footing the bill for that. So it's an important topic tonight. What should we be watching for?
Yeah, so I said a couple of them, but let's get into the specifics. So cryptocurrency kind of mixed with a new friendship romance scam. We're seeing a lot of these. They're happening on social media, they're happening on LinkedIn, Tinder, whatever it is. They're trying to get you to invest money with them. So bottom line with this, never invest money with anybody you do not know. Next, the payday loan scams. Criminals offer fake payday loans that claim to help people pay their bills. And you know, a lot of Americans are struggling right now, and that's why we're seeing an uptick in this scam. Also, one-time password bot scams. This one's a little confusing. It's kind of like almost a phishing scam. Well, they'll send you a message asking you for an authorization code. Basically, that's to get into your financial accounts. Also, student loan forgiveness scams. A lot of people out there have a lot of student loans, and especially with what the what the government is doing with student loans, the scammers are taking advantage of that. And then finally, the puppy scams. I mean, they'll just sell fake puppies online and people fall in love with the puppies. If you're looking to bring a new dog into your home like I just did, visit a shelter, visit a rescue organization. Do not buy your pets online.
No, do not pay for, I mean, it's okay if you do it through like Craigslist, but you actually hold said pet before making the transaction.
Yeah, exactly. And if anyone asks for you to pay for that puppy with a prepaid gift card or of like Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle, 100% a scam, and get out of that situation.
Okay, well, I know that everybody who can hear our voices tonight has likely been the target of a scam of some sort. Let us know, what's the latest scam that they've tried to come after you with? 877-283-7570 is the number to call. And we do know that we are losing a lot of money. What's the government actually doing, though, to stop scammers, and have they been successful?
Yeah, and that's partly why we have Special Agent Keithley with us tonight, because, I mean, she's with the FBI. She's, doing a lot of this, going after the criminals. But the White House actually is doing some COVID relief fraud, and they're targeting the people that took advantage of all the COVID release programs. So some of the things that they're doing is they're pledging $1.6 billion to stop this problem. They're bolstering law enforcement manpower. They're adding new programs that will be used to prosecute scammers, prevent fraud, and provide assistance to victims of identity theft. They're proposing increasing the statute of limitations to 10 years, which is huge, and $300 million will be distributed to inspector generals at the Small Business Administration. This is a great step forward to stop these people who are taking advantage of the COVID relief funds.
Wow. $1.6 billion is a hefty sum.
Absolutely.
So I'm happy to say that. And I know that it's because of people like you who keep fighting for us against these fraudsters. If we didn't have people like you looking out for us, Amy, I don't know. We can't rely completely on the government. We know that much. So we thank you for what you're doing to supplement. All right, we have so much to talk about this hour. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, FBI Special Agent Rebecca Keithley will join us, and we're taking your calls. We want to hear from you tonight. How are scammers coming after you? 877-283-7570 is the number to call. We have coolers to give away, and these are high quality, hard coolers. We want to hear from you. Maybe you have a story or a tip to share. You might just be able to help somebody else. 877-283-7570. Our phone lines are open. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Scammers use an old-fashioned tactic called check washing to change the amount you write on a check and who it's for. Check washers use chemicals to erase what's written in ink, giving them a blank slate to write what they want. Here are 3 ways to avoid this fraud. First, use a gel pen when writing a check. Regular ballpoint ink can be washed off paper quite easily, but ink from a gel pen will permeate the fibers on the check, making it difficult to alter. Next, pay your bills electronically through your bank or your bank's app. And don't forget to review your withdrawals and deposits regularly. Finally, take any mail containing checks or sensitive personal information directly to the post office for mailing. For more fraud tips, go to aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork.
Welcome back to Rural America Live with AARP. Crimes targeting older Americans are on the rise. That's why we brought back fraud expert Amy Nofziger, who is the director of the AARP helpline. She's heard and seen just about all of it, and so she's here to help us so that we can be ahead of these scammers who just keep getting smarter. Also joining us now, FBI Special Agent Rebecca Keithley is on the desk with us, and we want you on the desk with us as well. We're giving away a cooler to 5 lucky on-air callers tonight. Give us a call. Join this conversation. The number is 877-283-7570. And let us know, have you been the victim of a scam recently? Do you have a tip on how to spot a scam? Again, that number is 877-283-7570. And we welcome Rebecca to the show. Before we get to the callers, I'd love to give them a chance to get to know you a little bit better.
Thank you for having me on the show. It is truly my honor to be here. I was that 10-year-old little girl that dreamed of becoming an FBI agent. I made a burglar alarm for my bedroom to keep my brother out of it.
Wow.
I read Nancy Drew books and wrote in code, and I was a tomboy. And so my parents sent for an application, the Richmond, Virginia field office. I filled it out and mailed it in. And the boss of that office called me in for an interview. And he told me that I was too young, and I cried and cried.
This is when you were 10 still?
I was 10.
Wow.
So I think I made him feel horrible. He took me to Baskin-Robbins, bought me a
31 flavors.
Yes. And he said, "Are you serious about this?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Here's what you need to do. You need to study hard, do well in school, never get a detention, study math, science, accounting, or law." So that's what I did, and so
never got a detention.
I realized when I got in, I could have had some fun. But so this position is truly a sweet spot for me. My background, my education, my prior work experience, and my prior experience in the bureau, and I. Much like many Americans out there, I've had this happen to my family.
Ooh.
My grandfather was the victim of elder financial exploitation through the undue influence of 2 friends.
Oh.
A long, drawn-out scheme to defraud. So I know firsthand the devastation that financial exploitation can cause a family, a community, somebody's legacy. And so in my case, my grandfather didn't realize it until he was on his deathbed. So this role is a very important way for me to keep his legacy alive.
Wow.
So thank you for having me here.
Oh my goodness.
What a good story.
What a special soul you have as well.
I couldn't be more passionate about anything.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. I mean, it just emanates. I just think that
It's a labor of love.
you're a very special person, and I think that our viewers probably would agree. So we really look forward to giving them an opportunity to talk to you tonight as well.
Absolutely. I'd love to hear their stories.
To glean from your experience. Okay, so we wanted to share some tips. Let's start there. Some tips for folks to keep in mind.
Absolutely. So
You have your
the
4.
first tip, the U.S. government will never call you and threaten to arrest you or a loved one. Number 2, don't answer the telephone if you do not recognize the telephone number. And so this is especially important for people with landlines. Make sure you have caller ID functionality for that landline. Number 3, don't respond to surveys that arrive in the mail or email. Surveys are a very easy way for scammers to collect personal information. And oftentimes they will sell that to others who will exploit it or commit identity theft with your information. So despite the promise of winnings or any promises that the surveys entail, just don't respond. There's nothing good that can come from it. And number 5, proper planning in advance and conversations with family. Make sure you have a plan before it is needed. You want to protect your finances. You've worked hard for those. Have a plan. Have a plan for any kind of medical hardship. Have a trusted advisor.
Absolutely.
It's intimidating to do. We all fear that we're going to be in that position. But the worst thing that can happen is that there's no plan.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And I think that this is just such an important topic tonight. And to bring your experience to the table as well, because this is tough, let's face it. I mean, you talk about your father and 2 of his friends, and when we're looking for red flags, and you're talking about relational issues, it can be very tough. But what do you do if you do suspect that something like this is happening? Do you go straight to the FBI?
What we recommend victims do, or family members of victims, file a report with the Internet Crime Complaint Center. It's ic3.gov, the letter I, the letter C, the number 3.gov, and provide as much information as possible. The more thorough, the better, and the quicker, the better as well. Time is of the essence.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, we're going to go straight to the phones. Our phone lines, I understand, are lighting up upstairs. 877-283-7570 is the number to call. Jen joins us from Illinois. Thanks for joining us, Jen. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I'm calling more so with a question. I have a grandmother who also has dementia. And it seems as though she gets more of these phone calls than, say, you or I would. She lives by herself. My grandpa has passed, so she's lonely, and she will talk to them. And it seems like they know to go for her and ask, say, her birthday or her Social Security number, things that they obviously would know not to ask other people. Is this common?
It is very common. The best advice I can give you is to make sure that your grandmother has a credit freeze on all 3 major credit bureaus. And a credit freeze, that will ensure that nobody can open up a line of credit with her personal information. Also, make sure that her finances are protected. Do you have anything to...
Yeah, I was just going to say, yes, she probably is getting more calls. And the reason is a lot of older adults are on list, right? And the criminals will purchase phone list of people of a certain age because they want to go where the money is. And most older adults have worked hard their whole life, have a solid nest egg, and the criminals go where the money is. So she is on more lists. But like Rebecca said, set up the protections and the barriers for her. Next time you're with her, put maybe a call blocking app on her phone, sign her up for the do not call list, do a credit freeze, whatever you can to protect her, to keep her safe.
Love it.
You can also have a conversation with her financial institution to let them know to be on heightened alert for any suspicious transactions.
Yeah, good point.
Excellent. I mean, it's all common sense, but really, when you drill it all down, we need to hear it, and we need to hear it over and over again.
Yeah.
So good. Okay. That leaves a line open for you, and you could be a winner. Jen was our first winner tonight. Congratulations, Jen. 877-283-7570 is the number to call. We're going to go back to the phones, this time to Missouri, where Bill is joining us. Thanks for joining us, Bill. Go right ahead.
Hello, this is Bill Schulte. I was heard about that scam junk. Remember they called and asked for Billy Schulte? I say this is his brother. I'm taking care of his house. He's on vacation. And then that's what they'll hang up on.
I love the fraud prevention there. You're a solid fraud fighter. Oh, that's a mouthful. Yeah, but what we do is we call those refusal scripts, really. is, when the criminals call you and you just say something to get them, off the phone in a polite way, because we still want to be polite. So that's your, refusal script. I've heard other people say, and this would be true for you, I don't take phone calls unless I talk to my daughter, and she's an FBI agent. I'll tell you what, that phone will be hung up really quick, because scammers don't want to deal with that. So.
I could not imagine so.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. 877-283-7570. That leaves a line open for you tonight. They are getting so smart, though. I mean, I've almost fallen into that trap on especially email recently, because they're really getting wise when it comes to these phishing scams.
They look very authentic,
Yeah,
and
they do.
same thing with me. There's been a few that I've had to do a double take.
See?
Like the Amazon imposter scam, the Nortons, like saying, there's a problem with your Amazon account. Even right now, we're seeing a lot of ones coming from the UPS saying they can't deliver your package.
Yes.
Right, click on this link. And especially around the holidays, when a lot of us are expecting packages, right, we might click on that link thinking it is, something that we need to pay attention to. Slow down, double check everything, and don't click on any links.
Wow. Okay. 877-283-7570. This is the world that we live in. We need to look out for our community members, for our neighbors out there as well. Our next caller is a winner. Thomas joins us from Oklahoma tonight. Thanks for joining us, Thomas. Congratulations. Go right ahead.
Well, hey, guys. I really appreciate you being there tonight. Some years back, I was going to college, and in order to do so, I stayed with my mother, and I helped her out, and then I put a few nice things back in the house. And at any rate, 3 months before she died, she got a letter in the mail, and it said, send $120 to us, and we'll send you a prayer cloth. And it'll heal you of all your sickness and disease. Well, she did it, unbeknownst to me. Well, I came in, and she was all jumping up and down and whatnot, and I asked her what's going on, so we sat down, and she told me. And I said, Mom, do you really believe that? She said, I've got to. It's from God. Well, 3 months later, she died. Now, those are the type of scams that are out there right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, I'm sure you hear a lot about this when you look through the fraud complaints, but a lot of scammers will use religion to have a connection with their victim, right? We see these in romance scams. It's like, and the victims will say, well, we prayed together, so he must be a good person. Just know scammers will exploit anything that you care about to steal from you.
Right. They play off of heightened emotion.
Yes.
And so we call that the amygdala hijack. And that's an age-old technique that fraudsters have used forever. And it creates that fear, that desire that will override your prefrontal cortex and cause you to act and not think. And it can happen to any of us.
Absolutely.
It can happen to you. It can happen to me.
Yep.
Oh, with romance, with me, it's easy. Let me just tell you.
That's how I met my husband, right?
I'm too stingy to give money in a romance scam. the puppy scam, I'd be victim to that.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
heartbreaking.
Yeah. It truly is. I mean, but it's horrible to think that people are using this as a form of income, going after the hard-earned money of others and trying to get it easily. And that's why it's so important. The work that you're doing is so valuable. And just having this show tonight, you calling in, let us know so that we can let others know what to be aware of so they don't fall victim. 877-283-7570 is the number to call. We're going to stick with Oklahoma, where Billy joins us next. Thanks for joining us, Billy. Go right ahead.
That I tried, somebody tried to scam me twice. The first time they called Grandma, and I finally asked them which Grandma they wanted. That they had 5 of them, and they hung up. And
yeah, the grandparent scam is such a big problem. But you asked the right question. Right? I mean, I hear people say this all the time on the helpline. They'll say, someone tried to, target me with the grandparent scam. And I said, well, you don't call me grandma. You call me Nana or something like that. Or what do you call me? Or what's your dog's name? Anything like that. But this is a very popular scam right now because, like Rebecca said earlier, it plays on your emotions. Of course, you want to help a grandchild, right? Of course you want to do that. And you feel like, oh my gosh, if I don't help them now, they're going to be sitting in prison or wherever they are. But it's one of the biggest scams. And just remember, our law enforcement does not work that way. They do not take prepaid gift cards, cryptocurrency, or Venmo to bail somebody out of jail. So if you ever get that phone call, hang up the phone, do not send them money. I'm sure you hear about this at the Bureau a lot.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And those fraudsters play off of that fear that their grandchild is going to be arrested. And what we tell people is stop, pause, take a breath, call another relative or call that grandchild to verify.
Yeah. The ether is what you always talk about, how they work you up into this state of the ether. And
it's a frenzy.
Absolutely. Your emotions will overtake you. Okay, 877-283-7570. And you have emotions because you're human. We all do. And it's usually the good humans that have the stronger emotions. So you're not doing anything wrong. We just all have to look out for one another because there are people out there who are trying to wrong us, unfortunately. 877-283-7570 is the number to call. Let us know. What kind of scams have you seen lately so that we can all be aware of what to look out for? John from Michigan, thanks so much for joining us. John, go right ahead.
Yeah, hello. Just calling. My wife and I, actually twice each, have been scammed with our credit card usage. Once at a gas station, and then 3 were actually out-of-state charges, and they were all less than $1. It was an odd thing for us, especially out of state, of course. And one of the things that initially happened was we got calls from our credit unions, and we answered those calls, and we're glad we did because they asked us those questions. So one thing, we saved our credit union phone numbers, which our credit cards are through, into our phone, so it automatically pops up to say the credit union number. And when we get that, when we use that credit card, we automatically answer that phone call. And it has helped us.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your story, John. So 2 things to kind of respond to on that is sometimes the criminals will do kind of test charges. So that might have been what was happening in that situation. They want to see if the credit card is good. Be very, grateful to your credit union for doing that. But the thing I really want to focus on is what you talked about of putting that phone number in your phone. So if you have a smartphone, there's technology built into the phone that you can go into your settings and have it send any unknown number directly to voicemail. And I think this is a great tip because maybe, you wouldn't have picked it up if it's your credit union. So put your numbers in your phone, put your doctor's number in your phone, put your family member's number in your phone, then have any unknown number go directly to voicemail because that's going to cut down on a lot of these scam calls.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 877-283-7570 is the number to call. Maybe you have a tip to share or a scam to share. Let us know tonight. That leaves a line open for you and a chance for you to be the recipient of a hard cooler. We're giving them away tonight, and our next caller is a winner. Randy from Illinois joins us. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations, Randy. Go right ahead.
Thank you. When Miss Lauren was saying that Rebecca Keithley would be on the show, that caught my ear because about 5 years ago, I think it was 2018, while visiting my brother in suburban Detroit, we attended an FBI seminar where she had talked about elderly fraud. And it actually helped me a few times with my mother, who's now deceased, but she was sold via telephone a cruise through Florida. And luckily, we were able, she didn't even have a credit card. I had taken care of that for her. So she had called her sister-in-law 30 miles away, who called me and said, I think I had a senior moment because I gave your mom a credit card. And luckily, to get to the bottom of the story, we were able to reverse that through the help of a state agency in Florida, got every penny back. And she also had other people that would come to her. One that came and told her house was infected with termites. And luckily, her part-time caretaker stopped by and called me immediately and said, "Do you guys have termites?" I said, "No." I said, "Thank you for telling me the details." I called my mom's house, and she was telling me what a nice guy was there taking care of her termites. He was ripping up carpet and drilling holes through the floor. So I got him on the phone and said the police department was 3 miles away, and I knew people there, and they would soon be coming to see him. So I guess we're lucky in that we avoided 2 of these near misses. And again, getting back to your seminar, which I truly enjoyed, 5 years ago, Miss Keithley, I think you pretty much laid out what was going on then. But from the FBI's perspective, what has been going on, I guess, in the last 5 years that maybe we didn't talk about then?
Well, first of all, Randy, thank you for calling, and thank you for the compliment. And I think it was great that you shared the knowledge that you gained from that seminar. I think I know which one you're talking about. And we've got incredible folks in Michigan, and they're continuing to do excellent public awareness and outreach. And that's an excellent question. So I would say the 2 biggest trends that the FBI has seen in 2022, they're in line with what Amy Nofziger mentioned earlier. We have seen a huge uptick in the number of investment scams in terms of number of victims and the amount of dollar losses. And we're seeing an increased use of cryptocurrency in these scams. Another thing, I would say our number 2 increase in number of victims and dollar losses is tech support scams. And most of these are originating from overseas, transnational organized criminal syndicates. And they're very sophisticated. They operate like businesses, decentralized. One component handles a certain aspect of the scam. And they rely on those call lists, those lead lists that are sold on the dark web. So one of the best things you can do to protect yourself is education and awareness. And there's a lot of different resources online for you to turn to that speaks more to these investment scams, tech support scams. You can go to AARP's website, the DOJ, FBI, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The Federal Trade Commission also has an incredible outreach campaign as well. So again, thank you for the call.
Yeah, and all those resources are at AARP.org/AARP Live.
You should absolutely remember that. There is a wealth of information there for you. And speaking of a wealth of information, boy, Randy's making out like a bandit with you, Rebecca Keithley. Not only did you help him at that seminar with all the information that he was able to take and help his parents with, you also just helped him win a cooler tonight.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
Congratulations to you, Randy. That leaves a line open for you, 877-283-7570. He's never going to forget you. I want to talk about another population that is being targeted, and I just, this one really gets me, our veterans. And talk about what's happening with our veterans.
So veterans are targeted more than the general population, and they're targeted with very veteran-specific scams. Right, so like pension poaching scams, filing your paperwork for a fee, all of this kind of stuff. So AARP cares a lot about the hardworking men and women who served our country, that we have a fraud-specific Veterans Resource Center. Again, you can go to AARP.org/AARP Live to get this information. You can even download our free guide on how to protect yourself if you're a veteran or have a veteran in your family. It's great information. Please go visit the website.
Absolutely, because one thing that you do get a lot of if you are a veteran is a lot of information to read through all the time. And so when you're constantly being inundated with paperwork, you just want to make sure that you're going through everything.
Yeah.
And if you have a question about something, make sure you ask.
Yeah, and that's why these resources are so valuable. Yes. And as Rebecca said, it's education and awareness, right? So, know what scams are out there that are targeting veterans. So if you get that phone call or that piece of mail, you're aware of it and you don't fall victim.
Excellent, excellent. For those who protected and served this great nation, we thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
And again, AARP.org/AARP Live is where you want to go on the web. On the phone, it's 877-283-7570. We still have time for your call, and you could still be a winner tonight as well. Leonard from Florida joins us next. Thanks for joining us, Leonard. Go right ahead.
Yes, I was checking my email the other day, and my whole screen locked up, and it kept saying, call this 800 number to get your scam taken care of. Your computer has been scammed, and call this 800 number. And thank goodness I did not. I had to have my daughter come help me to unlock the computer.
Yeah. So as Rebecca mentioned, that is the tech support scam. Right? And it's a perfect example. And I'm so glad that you did not call that phone number, because what they would have done is tried to get remote access into your computer, get into your bank account, social media, just take over it. We have people call the helpline every day who lose tens of thousands of dollars to the scam. And you heard it straight here from the FBI. It is trending, it is popular, so if that ever happens, do not call the phone number.
It's tough, too, because, I mean, when you're on your computer and there's things that you need to take care of, like online baking, or maybe you're getting your groceries ordered, you want to do that then and there.
Yeah,
and then when you have that number just kind of gleaming at you, it's very difficult.
Yeah, Leonard did the right thing.
I can't believe that,
Turn off the computer. I would say the next thing to do would be to contact a trusted person, whether it be a relative, your financial advisor, let them know what happened. If you actually sent money to the scammer, call your financial institution at once. Do not waste time in this. It's imperative to call the bank, and then report it to the Internet Crime Complaint Center with as many details as you can.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, 877-283-7570. We'd love to hear from you tonight. We are getting a lot of great calls. Let's keep those going. We want to hear your tips. We want to hear the scams. What are they coming after you? How are they trying to get after you that is unique, that is new? That's what we really want to hear about tonight. Robert from Georgia joins us now. Thanks for joining us. Go right ahead, Robert.
Yes, this is a situation with predatory real estate. A classic case of predatory real estate. A person came and spoke with me, wanted to purchase our home for a certain amount of money, and they agreed to the offer that they made. They said, "Just we have to do it. Just they'll pay that price. Not have to worry about fixing anything up, minus the mortgage, of course." And so we agreed to it. But after signing the agreement, it looked like it turned into everything else in the contract, but just as is. They said as is, but the different items they were saying, like this buyer reserves the right to assign this agreement to a third party, the right to list the property. That wasn't. I didn't see that part in there. If that had been in there at first, I wouldn't have accepted the deal. And they have other things, and they're saying that they're gonna hold me to this contract, that they can do whatever they want to, in the contract. And to me, that I think that's predatory real estate, and I thought that was illegal in Georgia.
What I would do, Robert, first and foremost, is contact someone at your Georgia Attorney General's office and talk to them. We have heard quite a few real estate scams that are happening, and especially in the southern area. There's one happening in Florida right now it's just very egregious. So I would reach out to your Attorney General's office. If you have someone that can maybe sit down with you, look over the contract, if you have someone in your family that has a legal background and can look at that. You can always call us on the Fraud Watch Network helpline, and you can, work with one of our trained fraud specialists that can give you more information and more referrals. I'm so sorry that you're going through this right now.
Yeah, very tough. Georgia Association of Realtors as well might be a good place to reach out.
Great tip.
Okay, 877-283-7570 is the number to call. Just when you think you've seen it all, somebody calls in to report a news scam. I've heard quite a few tonight that I didn't even know were circulating out there. So please let us know. 877-283-7570. You might just be the winner of our final cooler that we will be giving away on the other side of this break. So give us a call. Join the conversation, share your tips, And most importantly, be a good neighbor, because those who are listening tonight are learning. And I think the education component of this show is so valuable. So stay with us, much more to come right here on AARP, Rural America.
Amazon imposters are bombarding consumers with millions of robocalls, texts, and emails hoping to steal their money. Here is what to watch out for. You haven't placed an order, but you get an email or text that looks like it's from Amazon saying your order has been confirmed. You're then directed to click a link or call a number if the information is incorrect. Don't take the bait. You're notified about suspicious charges on your account and steps you need to take to address the issue. But taking these steps always spells trouble, so it's best not to engage or respond. You get a call or text saying a Prime account has been taken out in your name. You're requested to call a number to straighten things out, but that number goes to a scammer who's out to steal your money as well as your personal information. If you think you have an issue, contact Amazon directly. For more tips, go to aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork.
Welcome back to Rural America Live with AARP. We told you before the break that we had one cooler to give away. But actually, we are going to give away 2 coolers in the next 10 minutes. So please give us a call, 877-283-7570, and join our conversation tonight. We're going to go straight to the phones. Dave joins us from Minnesota. He is our first winner. Congratulations, Dave. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you. I have a couple questions, and then one thing, I'm getting emails saying I was going to inherit a lot of money from people all over the world, so that's one thing. And the other thing, I was wondering, what is a credit freeze and how do you do it?
Great question. Do you want to take that one?
I would be happy to take
Go
it.
ahead.
So I'll answer the second part first. A credit freeze, it's very easy to do. You can go online to do it. You can call the credit bureaus, and they will help you telephonically. What it does is it prevents anybody, including you, from opening up a new line of credit in your name. So let's say your personally identifiable information is stolen. If you have a credit freeze, nobody can open up a line of credit. So let's say you wanted to open up a new credit card, you have to go either online or call the credit bureau and type in or give them that PIN number, and then you can unfreeze it for a day, an hour, a month, or forever. And I've had one for the past, 10 10, 15 years.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And then your first question was about winnings.
Scam.
Right? Scam win.
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
no, the inheritance.
The inheritance. Yeah.
Inheritance.
This is a scam.
Yeah.
So and so what they will do is they will tell you that you've won $72 million, but in order to secure that, you have to provide them $50,000 or a sizable amount of monies to save it, to secure it, to get the winnings. It's a scam. You're not going to win a lottery. You're not going to inherit $1 million from somebody that you don't know. Just don't play into it. Just hit delete. The best thing you can do is just don't engage with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, on the fraud helpline, we're actually getting a lot of reports of that inheritance scam. And what they're saying is, like my last name, very unique, right?
Yes.
So I'll get an email that says, like, you've been identified as the only Nofziger out there, and another Nofziger passed away, and they wanted to have you have this money. And I mean, as much as we would all love to have that long-lost uncle want to give us all this money, of course, you'll have to pay, you know, shipping, handling, inheritance tax, whatever it is. Yeah. Do not participate. And I love it. Just delete.
Just delete.
It's easy. Just delete.
Are you both ever just kind of taken aback by how smart they are? I mean, it's like, you are using that for good. Just think of how much the world would benefit.
Yeah, I hate giving criminals credit, but they study. This is their job, right? Like you said at the beginning of the show, I mean, this is their job. They have bosses. They have training. They know how to get us under their ether to steal our money. So that is why we and our communities need to be out there warning everyone and staying safe, because we're going to be the ones that prevent it and stop it.
Yeah, it's a community problem. If somebody's victimized of their entire life savings, they become reliant upon public assistance. It affects everybody. Over the next couple of decades, economists are predicting that we will have the great wealth transfer. About $30 to $68 trillion will transfer between the silent generation and the baby boomers to their younger descendants. It's a very complex matter. People are living longer. They might choose to donate the money or spend it, right? Yeah. But the fact is the money is out there. And these criminal syndicates know that. And so it's just going to,
they're coming after you.
Yeah, it shows that this is going to become even a bigger problem. We might also see the victimization then hit the younger generations. Their descendants. We might see an increase in that.
My goodness. I mean, it's tough because they're thinking of 10, 20-year game plans, just like big corporations are. That's scary.
And they're limited by creativity.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, 877-283-7570. We've seen no shortage of that so far tonight based on what the viewers have told us. Mark joins us from New Mexico. Thanks for joining us, Mark. Go right ahead.
Yes, this just happened within this week, and it is a scam that's occurring on Facebook. What they're saying, and this is not through the federal government, this is through other entities that are informing people they will get 10 free COVID tests if they provide all they have to do is provide their phone number, their name and address, and their Medicare number. And then it asks you to insert the Medicare number a second time. So, you know, I've been told do not give out your Medicare number. I feel that this is a scam that Facebook is allowing to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Say it again, say it loud. Do not give out your Medicare number to anybody that shouldn't have it. Right, like your doctor should have it, your pharmacy, your physical therapist. What's interesting with the Medicare number, and I'm sure you've heard about this, but it used to be your Social Security number. Well, they took that off and gave you a random 11-digit number. Problem was, people don't think that they have to be as safe with that number, but you do. And Medicare fraud is big business. It is costing all of us billions and billions of dollars.
Tommy from Tennessee would like to chime in. He's our next winner tonight. Congratulations, Tommy. This has been a great conversation. Looking forward to hearing what you have to add to it. Go right ahead.
Yes, the reason why I called in I think people should not put so much trust in the people in their families, because people in your family they'll steal from you and do other things. And I had a situation in my family where someone got a hold of my bank numbers and stole $12,000 out of my bank account.
Wow, I'm so sorry that happened to you, Tommy, but you're absolutely right. Family does steal from family, right? It's a very sad situation. And, you know, that's why education is so important. You know, setting up your bank account so they notify you if there's suspicious charges, things like that. You know, I think that my family is very safe and I trust them, but you're exactly right. It can happen to any of us at any time. So thank you for sharing that, and I'm so sorry it happened.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and pitch the FBI number. Make sure we put that on the screen before we end this show. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Now, if somebody does so, what's that call going to look like?
They're going to get in touch with our public access line unit, and so we have customer service representatives there, and they will listen to the complaint and they will direct the caller of the next steps. Or they will reach out to local law enforcement or contact a field office directly. So
we talk about being good community members, and this is part of the reason why family. We all know every family has issues on some level, every single family. But as a community member, if you're outside looking in and you see something suspicious, you can still report this to the FBI. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But another number that I would like to highlight for older adults is the DOJ fraud hotline.
Department of Justice.
And that is 1-833-FRAUD-11.
1-833-FRAUD-11.
And they have trained folks there that can provide more help. And they can direct the older adult to go to IC3 or to contact local law enforcement. It's just more personalized, pointed guidance. If the older adult is experiencing trauma, those counselors at DOJ are trained to handle that.
I love that.
And then they can contact the FBI, and we can get our victim services folks on board too.
And I'll tell you one thing about the DOJ line, our helpline. I just want to bring up one more scam, the "Can you do me a favor" scam. I thought we'd hear about it tonight from some of our callers, but this one is rampant right now. It's where you receive a text or an email from someone that you think they know, like you know them, like your boss or your minister, saying, "Hey, can you do me a favor? I'm in a meeting, I'm stuck, and I forgot to buy birthday presents for my nieces. Can you please go buy me some prepaid gift cards, take a picture of the front and the back of the card, email it back to me." Actually, on AARP.org right now, we have a great story about a victim who is actually my cousin, who called me. And she got this text from her new boss, and she thought, well, maybe he doesn't know, and so I'll go and do it. And she lost $2,000 in this scam.
$2,000.
Yeah, so report it if this has happened to you.
And she's the cousin of Amy Nofziger?
Yeah. Well, they have their own internal fraud fighter, so of course I was the first person she called.
Well, I mean, and the Fraud Watch Network is a great place to start as well. Maybe you're more comfortable starting there than going straight to a government agency. Either way, you're going to get valuable information. It is out there, it is available, and maybe you have something to report as well. You're going to help somebody. It's really important that we have conversations like this, and I think that's a big part of it as well, is just opening up the dialogue, letting people know that this is taking place, because oftentimes if you don't talk about it, if you don't shine the light on it, it just goes unnoticed.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it stays in the shadows.
And then victims feel a tremendous sense of shame, embarrassment. They might be afraid that they will lose their independence as a result. So we see a reluctance in reporting these. But that's the worst thing you can do. If you are feeling like you're being harassed, if you feel like you've lost your life savings and you've lost all hope, there is help out there.
Absolutely.
Right. Call 988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. There is help. Or call 911.
Gosh, I don't know that I've ever met somebody who works for the FBI who's as passionate as you. I just love it.
We're lucky. We're lucky to have her.
I gotta ask you, I mean, you read all the Nancy Drew books. Is it as glamorous as you thought it would be?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question to answer.
I think we all know the answer.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Okay.
Every assignment I've had has been fun, and I've been passionate about everything.
Well, I mean, it's got to feel good when you put away a bad guy who's been targeting elderly people. That has to feel good.
Oh, it feels incredible.
Okay, I love hearing that, and love knowing that people like you are looking out for our elderly population.
Yeah, but we can't arrest our way out of this problem. We can't conduct enough public outreach. We know that some attendees and some recipients of our brochures have fallen victim because of that amygdala hijack that we spoke about earlier. Right, so this is why it requires a collective effort, family, friends, financial institutions, private sectors.
Shows like this.
AARP, absolutely. So.
Shows like this. Yeah. By the way, we'll be back with another one. Every third Thursday of the month, AARP joins us with valuable information just like this. Thank you both so much for joining us, for spending the time. Thank you for calling in. It's just as if you were sitting right here at the table with the three of us. Make sure you join us next month when Detective Paul Greenberg will join the show. Want to wish you all a beautifully blessed evening from Rural America's most important network.